Hey guys, it's Nikki here. I'm here today just to give you kind of a wrap up on my reading for February and then to jump into my reading for March. So in February, I didn't get like oodles of reading done. The beginning of my month was really strong. I had last week off, so like kind of the 20th through whatever of February off. Did not get much reading done as I thought. I did finish Rose Code, which I don't even remember if I had intended to pick that up, but I got it as an audiobook from my library and ended up finishing the physical copy on my holidays. I also read The House in the Cerulean Sea all the way through. I read like 250 pages of the Chonky book I have picked for my quarterly review. I finished some books I had started. One was To Be Taught If Fortunate. I had started that shortly before Christmas, put it down, picked it back up. Loved it, finished it right away. I finished Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. That one is one that I've actually been reading with my sister and my mom. We had been reading it out loud to each other. We do kind of a reading circle / reading club, book club thing every Friday, which is a lot of fun. And then I listened to a bunch of kind of unplanned audiobooks at work. Really, what I should have done is looked at my previous video or kept a list somewhere of what books I was going to read, because I don't know if I read everything I intended. But now on to March. I will be continuing my Chonky book that I picked up for the quarterly vlog that will be going up at the end of the month here, as well as the second book I want to read for it. Both are fantasy. Both are different than I normally read. One is a sequel, one I think is one is a standalone. So I'm excited to see how those play out over the month. And then I have what looks like a really ambitious little pile here, given that I have not been reading a ton lately. The first is the eighth volume of One Punch Man. This was honestly, I think, given to me by my husband for my birthday last year. I really enjoy this series. It's fun, it's quirky, it's weird. It's about a guy who is so overpowered that one punch from him can kill anything. There's also a series out for it. I think the first season's on Netflix, or at least Canadian Netflix. And I love it. It's a lot of fun. Next is a book that I'm pretty sure I was supposed to read for February because it's Black History Month, and that is Diamond Doris. This is a woman who was the most notorious jewel thief, and it's her and another writer kind of going through her life. This is her memoir, essentially. And now on to these three. I'm singling these out a little bit differently because I was able to get an audiobook copy of each of these. Well, specifically this one is just the first book. So I'm intending to tandem read them, and I think that'll be a good way for me to get through a few more books in a month, and if it works, I'll probably continue that moving forward. But I'm really excited to do it, and specifically, The Devil in the Dark Water is my book of the month for March. As always, I am going to have a handful of audiobooks that I listen to throughout the month. In fact, I have a couple that I started kind of at the end of February, and I'm pulling into March here that I'll be reading. One is Olga Dies Dreaming. I'm really enjoying it, but I had to put it down. It got to a part where I was getting very frustrated with the main character, and although I understand why they were being so frustrating to me, I just had to step back from their story for a little bit to kind of reach equilibrium and then go back in. The other one I'm listening to right now is An Unkindness of Ghosts by Rivers Solomon, and I'm really enjoying that as well. And I have another list of stuff that I'm wanting to listen to at work. Jade War, second book in the Jade trilogy by Fonda Lee. I have Cibola Burn, which is the fourth book in the Expanse series. and a couple others that are things I'd either put on hold or just found and was excited for. Additionally, for March, although I do not have my copies with me right now, I am going to be reading a couple of traditional fairy tales, comparing them to their movies, and then comparing them to kind of retellings that I've read of these stories. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll see what kind of videos I make out of it. That's all I have for you today, so I will leave you here, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.